So one of the most unique features when it comes to M1 Finance is being able to create these slices of pies right over here, so that way you can have different types of stocks or ETFs into different sections if you want to, or you can have them all together, whichever way you want to go. But for a lot of people, they like to split things up like this, so that way they can keep things organized and looking great. So the way we're going to do this is go ahead and create our pie. Now, our pies can include anywhere from 1 to whatever number of stocks we want. I believe the max in your portfolio can be up to 100. So keeping that in mind, if you want to go with a higher number, you might have to create multiple pies. But right over here, as an example, in our growth section, we actually have 4 stocks. In our retail section here, we have 3 stocks. And if we go into our tech, we have 2, and so on and so forth. So we have a limited amount in each slice to help keep things manageable and help us go through the process of having everything the way we want it long term without having to pay attention on a day-to-day. So how do we go ahead and create these pies? Well, the thing we want to do is actually go into our research section, which is going to be towards the top page here. So we're going to click here, and this is going to get us a whole new section of M1 Finance that we've not seen before. So the first section here is with news. Next up is going to be the stocks that we can choose from. Then the ETFs and funds that we can choose from. They also now have crypto, which is very new, and we haven't talked about that yet, but it is going to be there. Then we have a section called My Pies. This is where we're going to want to go into. And then we're going to look at Expert Pies here in just a little bit, as well as creating a wait list with stocks that we are interested in and want to pay attention to. So let's go ahead and click on My Pies. And you can see here, I actually already have some that are used and in stocks and funds account. And then I have some that are not actually used, but I had created before and I can add to my portfolio. But we're not going to add those yet because I want to show you how to go ahead and build one. So right here it says build a stock and fund pie. So we're going to click here, and this is going to be the page that opens up for us. So how do we go through and create this pie? First, we want to name the pie. If we want to say food, right? So we're going to add food companies in here. So food. You can put emojis in there if you want, like I've done before. You can add descriptions in here, so we can do, fast food. If you want to go ahead and add any details on there. So once we have all that in there, now what we're going to want to do is add some slices, which are essentially different stocks or funds. So you can see right over here where it says add slices, or slice I should say. We're going to click on here. And it's actually going to take us to this page where we can go ahead and choose different stocks. Up towards the left, we can click on funds instead if we wanted to do ETFs. And so what we're going to do is look at the different companies. We can go ahead and start searching. It usually starts with the market cap first. So you see Apple and Microsoft at the top. On the left side here, you can actually see a bunch of different filters based off of things that maybe you are looking for. If this is not really your expertise here, don't worry so much about the filters if you don't want to. You can see the different sectors as well too, just to kind of keep in mind. But if you're somebody like myself who already knows what we're going to be adding into this pie here, what we're going to actually want to do is just go ahead and go to the search section over here. We can either go by symbol, if you know the symbol for the company, or you can just type in the company name. And because I am very hungry for some Chipotle, we're going to go ahead and put Chipotle down. So I just started typing in Chipotle and it started coming up, so we can click here. And it takes us to pretty much the information page for Chipotle. You'll see a lot of data points like the graph. You'll see some of the price point right here, the market cap, PE ratio, and some of the other important information to note when it comes to this company, as well as some news towards the bottom here. So that's always good information to have if you want to go in depth with them. Sometimes I recommend outside sources like seekingalpha.com is a great website. So let's go ahead and add Chipotle to our basket. So you're going to see this option right here. We're going to go ahead and click on there. And now you can see it says remove from basket, which at the bottom of the screen will have Chipotle. So it shows that we're building our pie. So next up, let's go ahead and do Domino's. Because again, we're doing food companies here and I'm getting really, really hungry. So we're gonna go ahead and add this one also to the basket. And then we can also do, let's say Wendy's. Let's say we're super into Wendy's. And again, we're gonna go ahead and add to basket. So you can see them piling up at the bottom of the screen right over here. I'm gonna put my arrow so you can see here. So they're adding up together. Now I'm a little bit in the way here, but there is an add button right over here, right next to my icon or my screen here, but it just says add, ADD. And so if these are the companies I wanna add, let's say I can do more in the future, that's totally cool. But for today, I just want these 3 companies. We're gonna click on that add, and then you're gonna come back to this original page where we put in the name of the pie. Now what this does automatically for us is pretty much breaks them down into an even amount based off of how many companies we added. So if we did 4, they would be broken down to 25% apiece. Now I choose to want to have these as different targets, and what this actually does for us is allow us to have a certain amount of our overall portfolio dedicated to each of these stocks, as well as to each of these pies. So for us, as an example with Chipotle, maybe I want Chipotle to be 50% of this pie, you can see right over here, it says I have to remove 16% to get to 100 because that's what is the max. Max for any pie can be 100% of the pie. So I have to go ahead and lower these other two. I can choose whichever amount I want. Maybe Wendy's I only want to be 15%, which then drops it back up here to say I had to add 9% back to get to 100. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to Domino's. So if this looks good for me, you can see on this pie section over here, it kind of gives you a visual showing that Chipotle takes up half, Domino's takes up 35%, and then Wendy's would take up 15%. If this looks good, I can click on continue at the top here. Now, one thing I really want to stress out here is that you can change these numbers day in and day out, multiple times a day if you want to. It doesn't actually affect anything, and we'll go over that a little bit more too. But if this looks good for now, you can go ahead and hit continue. And then it'll take you back to this page that we were at earlier. So if I scroll down here, because it's not in my account currently, I technically already had one food thing added, but this one is the fast food one because we created that here. There's an option here that says add to portfolio. Now, if you are brand new to M1 Finance and this will be your first portfolio, this will take up 100% of your overall portfolio. But as you add more of these slices into your overall M1 Finance, that percentage has to change. And I'm going to show you here back at the main account here for us on M1 Finance. Let's load up here. So these are all my slices. So let's pretend this one was the food option that we just created. Well, if we added it to our portfolio, see here, this is 29%. So the first one you add in will be 100%, but the second one you add in has to at minimum be 1% and the other one has to be 99%. But ideally you want to have a more reasonable percentage for each section that you have. So you can see here that my actual growth section takes up about 29%. That's my target. It's way above it for now. My retail I would like at 23%. My tech section I would like at 22%. Finance and so forth, you can see all the different percentages. So as you keep adding more slices in, you're going to have to change those percentages, similar to when you saw those 3 stocks that we were adding in and you had to get it to 100. Same thing when you add the overall slices right over here into your portfolio time and time again, because you're going to have to keep it at 100%.